Hi guys, this is Kelly, and if you've been watching some of my videos recently, you'll know that I am in the middle of packing up and getting ready to move, and so that means that I have gone through all of my books and decided what to unhaul, and I'm going to I take it to half price books because we have one close by, and I can get a little money back and end up buying a couple books for either myself or my daughters. So that's where we're going to go later today. I'm also doing like a huge purge of the whole house. The back of my van has 10 garbage bags full of clothes for me, my husband, and the kids. Like, we did a massive purge of our clothing. I in the last year have lost about 20 pounds. So I basically just got rid of all of the clothes that don't fit me anymore because I do not want to go back to that weight. So I just thought I should get rid of them all. So then I don't have to if things start not fitting, I have a little impetus to get back with my walking and all that stuff. So major purge. So here are the books that I am getting rid of, and so I'm gonna start off with the ones that are recent reads and are a little more popular. The way I do these is that if I read a book and it doesn't get like a 4 or 5 stars, I generally will get rid of it just because I don't have a lot of shelf space, and I probably am not going to reread a book that isn't a high rating for me, or something that I'm like, okay, I read that, I enjoyed it, I'm not going to read it again, I'll get rid of it. Or if it's a book I really didn't like, I'll get rid of it. So these first ones you've probably seen me review on this channel, and so you might have already heard reasons why I didn't like them. So the first one is I Love You More, and it's not that I didn't like this one. I gave it like a 3, I think. It was just a average thriller for me, and it was enjoyable while I was reading it, but I don't think I'll ever read it again. I'd rather read other thrillers than revisit this one. And the next one is going to probably be controversial, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. If you watched my review of this, I was really disappointed by this. I expected it to be like something I really loved because so many people love and adore this book, but it just really bothered me the way it was written. It was more the writing style than the actual story. Like, I didn't really like it being told from Death's point of view, and there was just stuff I just really didn't like, so I didn't give it like a really bad rating. I just kind of rated it like a 3 or something, and I'm definitely never going to read this again because it was making me very frustrated while I read it, so there's no reason for me to keep it. And since it's a well-loved book, I'm sure somebody at the bookstore will get it. And going along that same train, I am getting rid of I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. I also didn't hate this book. I liked it. It was a really high rating, I think, for most of the book. I did not like the ending, like to the point where it ruined the rest of the book for me. So it went from being like a higher rated book to, I don't remember what I ended up rating it, if it was a 2 or a 3, but I ended up really hating it based on the ending. So I'm just not going to read it again because I know how it ends and I don't want to do that again. The next one is Ruby Red, which is the first in a trilogy, and I'm still reading this trilogy. I finished the second one and I'm in the middle of the third, but I know that I'm not going to reread this trilogy. Like, it's entertaining enough, but it's like a real average series for me, so I'm never gonna go back to it. And the other 2 I have from the library, so I'm not going to keep just one when it's not something I'll ever reread. And then the last kind of recent read is Shuffle Repeat by Jen Klein. This is a YA contemporary romance. A lot of people had rated it really good, and I've seen it on a couple channels, people liked it, and for me it was just average. Like, it just wasn't anything spectacular. So I have other romance books that would be like my favorite that I might go back and reread, but I'm not going to recommend this and I'm not going to reread it, so there's no reason for me to keep it, and somebody else might enjoy it. So those are my recent reads, and then I have ones that, some of these are ones I've read and some are ones that I haven't read, and I've owned them for a long time and I'm just not going to get to them. So the first one is Nicholas Sparks: The Rescue. I have read this back in high school, or no, back in college I think I read this. And I used to be a really big Nicholas Sparks fan, and I just don't think that I'm going to reread his books because I'm starting to not like them as much. So I might read the newer ones, but I don't think I'm going to go back and reread them because I just recently reread A Walk to Remember and hated it. So I don't want to ruin my past thoughts about the books by rereading them and not enjoying them now. So I'm getting rid of some of his. So that one I'm going to get rid of. I'm getting rid of Max, which if you watched my TBR video for Booktubeathon, I was planning on reading this book and watching the movie, but then I found out that this book is actually a novelization of the movie instead of the other way around, and I don't like to read books where the movie comes out first, because generally then they're just writing exactly what happened in the movie. If a book came out first, there's more to the story that the movie might have taken out, so I enjoy it, but I do not read books that are written straight from the movie. So I'm just going to watch the movie and not do that. Here's another Nicholas Sparks, The Wedding. My mom actually gave me this. She gives me her books after she reads them. I had already read this book a long time ago, and it was not one I liked the first time I read it. This is actually the sequel to The Notebook. It has some of the same characters and like kind of, it's the next generation, and I just didn't enjoy it. Kind of like, I liked The Notebook and it didn't really do anything to further the story in my opinion. So I didn't keep my original copy, and so my mom gave me this one and I just immediately knew I was going to get rid of it. The next one is The Wizard of Oz, or The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and this, I'm not getting rid of this because I don't want to read it. I'm getting rid of this because I bought a new version that I like better. Like, this one's just kind of a weird shape. It's like tall and skinny, and I don't like the way it was on my shelf, and I had bought a better, prettier version, so I'm getting rid of that one. The next one is called Bright Precious Days, and this was actually given to me free at the library. Like, I won like a raffle, and it was my raffle winning. And I read the, hold on, hon. Hold on, sweetie. I read the description, and I'm never going to read this book, so I got it for free. I'm not going to keep it. Sorry, my daughter came in and wanted me to start up her television show again. So next one is another Nicholas Sparks, The Last Song. I do remember liking this, but I just don't generally like hardbacks, so I don't want to keep this because of the hardback. And then I have The Sugar Queen by Sarah Addison Allen. If you watched my recent haul, I just bought this book again, but I bought the paperback because all the other of her books that I own are paperbacks, so I didn't want to have like a random hardback and the rest all paperbacks. This is a children's book called A Blessing from Above, and the reason I'm getting rid of this is a book about adoption, and I don't like the way the birth parents are portrayed in the birth family. I mean, they're animals, but still, it seemed like it was a negative. I have a video where I rate like some of adoption picture books, and I do not recommend this one, so I'm getting rid of it. Next one might be a little controversial. I'm getting rid of The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. I have some of his poetry books for my kids, and I like them, but this one lately I've just been feeling I don't really like the message fully, so I just decided last few times I've read it to my daughter, I just haven't really been liking it, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. We can always get another version if we decide later on that we want it. I have a few cookbooks that I'm getting rid of, and mostly it's because I like my cookbooks to have pictures, so I have one called No Red Meat, and then 2 vegan cookbooks. My husband got these a long time ago, but they don't have pictures, and he is no longer a vegan, so there's no reason to keep them. And then just a few more. I have Runaway Jury by John Grisham. I loved the movie, so I got this book, but it's a mass market paperback, and I've had it for over 10 years and never read it, so probably not going to. Then I have Les Mis by Victor Hugo, and the reason I'm getting rid of this is because this is the abridged version, and I decided if I'm going to invest the time to read it, I should read the full version, so I'm getting rid of this one. I have 2 books by Justine Garter, Sophie's World and Maya. I've heard that these are really more like philosophy books and not like with a plot, but not really. They're most about the philosophy, and that just doesn't interest me, so I'm going to get rid of them. I'm getting rid of Homer, The Odyssey. I've owned this book forever and have never even bothered to pick it up, and I just don't think I'm going to, and if I did, I could go to the library. It's been sitting on my shelf too long without even like an inkling to read it. I have I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb, and this is another one I've owned since high school, so like about 20 years, and have never bothered to even like start it or try it, so it's too big to just sit on my shelf and have owned for that long. The next one's another one I got free from the library, A Secret History of Witches. I won this in a raffle again. It was an ARC at the time I won it, and now it's out, and it just doesn't seem like something I would really read from reading the reviews, so nope, not going to keep it. I have Brida by Paulo Coelho? I don't know, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but I had read The Alchemist a long time ago and liked it, but after reading this, the synopsis again. I just don't think I'm going to pick this up anytime soon. So there's no reason for, I have other things that I am more interested in. And then the last one is Jodi Picoult, Handle with Care. I own a lot of her books. I think I have a bunch like sitting right here on the shelf. And I haven't read one of her books in years. And so I went through and I read the synopsis of all of them. And this one was one I was least interested in. It's a huge, like really tall, like hardback that doesn't really fit on my shelf. So I'm getting rid of it. And then the last thing is that my mom gives me a lot of her books, and she reads different books than I do. She reads more like chick lit that is not like, sometimes I read some of the books, but for the most part, she just gives them in to me to trade them in. So I'm not going to go through these. I'm just going to show you that this is the stack of books my mom gave me, and they're just not authors that I am interested in. Not to say that they're bad authors. I'm just not necessarily a chick lit person. So I'm getting rid of all of those as well. I also have a few like movies and games, like we used to have a Wii, and so I have some of those to get rid of, so stuff like that. So I have a huge amount of stuff. Hopefully I'll get enough cash to get a few new books that I am interested in. And that's it for me today. Thanks for watching.